Hello, in today's video I'm going to show you how to create a simple logo in Photoshop.
He's the pretty good photographer.
Hello folks, I'm Shannon and I'm the pretty good photographer. Today I'm going to make a logo for my channel using Photoshop. This tutorial would be great for anyone who needs a simple logo for their social media or their business. So let's jump right into Photoshop. Here we are in Photoshop. We're going to create a new project. I'm using a 2000 by 2000 pixel project at 300 pixels per inch resolution. Just hit create. We're going to draw a circle. We're going to use the ellipse tool for that. If you don't see the ellipse tool, if you click and hold, you'll see a bunch of different tools that pop up. You just choose the ellipse tool. Once we're there, I am going to hold the shift key and just drag out a circle. I'm going to make this logo initially in black and white, so we're going to want that circle filled black. So I want this circle centered. I'm just going to come back to the background. I'm going to hit Control A to select. You can see the marching ants now around the edges. That is selected all of the canvas. I'm just going to go to the Move tool. Now you can see that we have, well, you got to click back on the ellipse, the circle. Now with the Move tool, we can center this vertically and horizontally. Control D will deselect, and now we have that centered. Next, we'll enter in the text. So I'm going to the text tool, horizontal, and I'm just going to draw me a box somewhere in this area. Now I'm just going to type my text in here. In this case, pretty good. I'm going to hit enter to go down and say photographer. We can do some of the same centering now. I'm going to go back to the background, click Control A, get the marching ants, back to the text, back to the Move tool, and we can, I just want to get it horizontally. Now if I click the shift key and grab the text, you can see I'm not going to be taking that left or right. It's just going up and down, so I can place it however I want to. Try that again. So there we have our text. Control D, deselects. Now if this is the text that you want, that's great. You can change the text to anything that you want here. The other option that you have is under type. You can go to more from Adobe Fonts, and you can pick all the fonts that are available to you there. You also have free fonts that you can search on the web as well. You can enter in your sample text here, and then you can search for a specific text if you happen to know what the font style is, or you can see the different styles that you can choose from. So take a look. Obviously, creativity, you can do anything that you want. And generally speaking, you want this to be easily readable text. Now that you have your text and your font chosen, you can also change the size of that to whatever you would like. I'm going to leave it large. You can change the spacing height. You can change the spacing between the letters however you would like there. I kind of like it just like that at about -60 for now. I'm going to move it down just a bit. Now I chose to put a graphic up in this space. There are a number of places that we could get that graphic. One of them would be to use the custom shape tool. We can find that down here. We can see this dialog comes up. It allows us to choose shapes in different categories. You have to turn on legacy shapes and more to get more than what you just see there, but there are tons and tons of different shapes to choose from if you wanted to put something in here. Depending on the type of logo you are looking for, you might find what you're looking for here. I did not. I wanted to put a simple camera there. For the logo I'm using on my channel, I created the camera out of just some basic shapes. For this tutorial, I just searched camera SVG. It gives you a vector graphic, and we're just going to take it and drop it right in place. Now this camera is black, so once it's placed, we hit enter. It does not look much like a camera. We can fix that pretty easy. Make sure that we're on the camera layer. I'm just going to hit Command I. You can see it turned this into a smart filter with this invert filter, which made it white with black details. So that looks pretty good. Maybe it's a little larger than I wanted it to be. I'm still in the custom shape tool, that's why that popped up. So I am going to hit Control T to transform. Tells me it's going to turn everything off, the invert off, so I can resize. You can hit enter. Just jumping in real quick to say, if you're finding value in this video, please consider giving a like. We want to center our icon, so we're going to use the same trick. Go to the background, Control A, and we just make sure that we're back on the icon, and there it is, centered up. So right there is a good black and white simple logo. We make any adjustments we want to. I'm going to go back here to Pretty Good Photographer. I'm just going to adjust that down a little bit. Control D gets rid of the selection. And I like what I see here. Now I also want maybe a colored version of this, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the circle layer. I'm going to come to layer, new fill layer. We're going to do this as a gradient. Now I want this color to only be on the ellipse, so I want to use the previous layer to create a clipping mask. I'm going to check that yes. When I do that, then it only falls on the ellipse. So I keep saying ellipse, it is an ellipse, but the circle. So now we can use whatever colors we want to here, and for mine, I believe I used the blues. You can choose, you can play around with these, you can do whatever you want. Now we've got a color. Or also you can change the direction that it goes. You can reverse it. You can do whatever you like with this. You can also even customize it more. You can come down here and choose different colors. You want it to go from a lighter color to this color. You can do this however you like. So there is a simple gradient. Now we've got the black and white version, which looks great, and we've got the gradient version, which looks okay, except for I don't want those to be black in this version. So one of the simplest ways to deal with these areas is probably to use a mask, so whatever's behind it will show through. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the text. I'm going to turn off the color. I'm going to come back to the camera icon. I'm just going to go select color range, and I want to make sure, you can see I have a little dropper tool. I just want to make sure that the white is what we're selecting. I'm going to hit OK. It selects just the whites. Now if I come down here, we're still on the camera, and I just click this mask button. So that's our black and white version. Now when I turn on the color version, we can see through it. All right, so now we have the logo. We've got the black and white version. We've got the color version. We want to export this out. Now, depending on how you're going to use this, for me, I turned the background off because I want to make this as a transparent object, where you see the checker marks essentially will be transparent. So we're going to save that out now. I'm going to export as. And we're going to use a PNG with transparency. This will give us a logo that we can now put on our videos or put in, on photos as a watermark if we wanted to. You could do a lot with this. All you'll see is what is not the checkerboard here. So it'll look great. All right, guys, as always in Photoshop, there's tons of different ways to get to the same end result. And there's obviously no end to the creativity that you could put into this logo. This is just a very simple tutorial to get you started. I hope you found value in today's video. If so, please consider giving it a like. And I will talk to you again in the next video.
He's the pretty good photographer.